Hello everyone, this week I have another fun thrift haul for you. I thrifted this box. I think my girlfriend thrifted it and then asked me if I wanted it. Probably $1. It's just a plain box. I do like plain boxes. They work good for risers to put your stuff on, or they work good to put items inside, especially when you paint them up. So we'll paint this one. Then she's had this for a while. She teased me with it because she found it at a garage sale, but she finally said, I don't need it, so you can have it if you want it. A Cracker Jack tin. And you all know how I like my campfire marshmallow tins. Look it, right on there. Cracker Jack campfire marshmallows, one taste invites another. And so this is mine. I don't remember what she charged me for this, but she found it at a garage sale. It's mine. It's priceless. Has anybody seen one of these? I wish she would have found that one, but I'm okay with this. A flour sifter. I always pick these up when I see them. This one is old. This one's old and crusty. It's got the vintage green handle on it already. It has 4 holes in it. I'm not sure why. And then it also has the measurements on it. You can put flowers in here. You can just put it in your kitchen. It has all kinds of uses. I'm not gonna do anything to this. So you can find it located on my website at thepaintedphotographer.com. Next up, I also got from my friend this pottery, and it's signed 2002. Looks like M&J. It's got the engraving on the bottom there, but it's a fish. And it's really a cool fish. You can feel it, and I think, I don't know, something has me with this fish. She said she didn't know why she bought it either, but that fish is just cool on this pottery. If you don't like the fish, you can always turn it around and just have the pottery here. But it's all glazed on the inside. So this is available on my website. This tin pan I picked up, I have to look it up. It does have a name on it. Oh, Korea so it says Korea right there. And it doesn't have any stamping on the bottom. It was 28 cents, but it's got this fun little handle. I thought this was really interesting. And you could either put a transfer on the back side or a transfer on the front side and hang this on the wall, or use it as a tray. And I don't know. It'll be available on my website, so you can purchase it as is. If nobody buys it, I'll probably upcycle it and put a transfer or something on it because I think it's really cute. All right, this is also from my friend. She picked this up. It did not have a stamping on it, and it does have some little dings. We both think that those are put there purposely. And there's another little ding on the top. But look at this. Is that not sweet? It's really, this is much better for me. Take the lid off. And this is much better for me. Put a plant in here, like a wire vine. And I just think it'd be the sweetest thing. I will list this on my website. But if it doesn't sell by spring, by summertime, when I'm starting to plant my flowers outside, I'm going to snatch it back and I'm going to use it. And then she also found this 3-legged stand here in this yellow color. And then she says to me, you can put this right on top. And you can have that as, you can put a flower in there and put it on top of the stand. And I'm like, okay, I need it. So I will list both of these on my website. Again, if it doesn't sell by summertime, I'm snatching it back. A bird cage. I like bird cages when they put flowers in them or flower pots, even a wire vine in here. I do like to put bird cages around my patio, just on tables or on my patio table or something. I do think that they're really sweet. This one has a grapevine wreath on the bottom of it. I'm okay with that. And then it has also a little spot to probably put a candle, but I'm thinking a flower pot in the summertime. So that's 98 cents. So that will be available on the website. This top does open. It's just, you gotta pry this thing apart here and I'll probably break a nail. So I'm not gonna do that. She also had this little bunny. It says Japan. So it's a little bunny made in Japan. And I didn't look him up yet, but she did. And she said he was pretty popular out there. So I'm going to take a look and see what he sells for. And then I'll have him up on my website. And he's got pink eyes, pink ears. He's just really, really sweet. Let's see if the camera focuses on him. He's just a sweet little bunny. And this is an iron lamp. It was $1.97. This is not going to blow away in the wind. So what I was thinking is on my patio table, can I put this out there somehow and maybe put a flower pot on top versus a lamp? Or would it be kind of fun to have it on a table on my porch with a lamp, with a skeleton lampshade on it? Tell me, what would you do with this in your outdoor decor? Because I do love this look. It'd even go in my house. Let's be honest. It would go in my house like today. So it's $1.97. I wish these weren't so shiny bright. I suppose a lampshade's supposed to cover that up, but it didn't come with a lampshade, and I just can't see a lampshade on there. We'll see. My girlfriend's sister also has these Simply Organic spice jars that she goes through, and she knew that I would like them, so she gifted them to me. They're gonna have transfers put on them, like I like to do. Here is a green little candle holder, or you can put a flower pot in there and put a plant in there. Everything right now to me screams summer, outside plants. That's all I got on my brain. But this is very, very heavy metal. I will list this on my website. I think the green color is fabulous. I already like the green color, and especially sitting outside with a terracotta pot in it and then some flowers in there. Yeah, cool. We had these two little deer. They're tiny. Look at that baby deer. They both look the same, but I have two of them. They do say Japan on the bottom of them. So I will list them on my website at thepaintedphotographer.com. If you want one of these tiny little deer, again, people like tiny things. A 49-cent tote. Totes are always good. I do like totes. I know all of you do too. It'd be fun to put a decoupage paper on each side of it. Put a plant in it. Here's a tin. This reminds me of the Delft pattern from IOD with the paint inlay. And this is all hand painted on there. And it was from TJ Maxx. And it's just a China made tin, but I don't know if it opens. I'll break a nail. So I'll see if it opens. But it is very, very pretty. I'm going to leave it as is. It was, oh, I don't have a price on it. Oh, $1.99. That's what this was $1.99. But I do like it. Speaking of blue, I have 2 blue heritage plates, saucers, and they do have a stamp on them. However, that's writing is a little on the blurry side to make it out, but blue heritage. And I do like that pattern on there, and a lot of people do like white and blue dishes. This one is also, this is a dinner size plate, and this one is English Village. And it does also have the stamping on the back, but that one is very pretty as well. I will list this on my website. Some people like, I mean, this would be really pretty on a plate stand sitting in your decor if you decorate with the China blue. Here's a box. It has a clasp on it. It's a wood cigar box type, but it's all embossed. That is all hand embossed. And it has the rose on it. I think it'd be really pretty painted white. And then letting that dark wax get into those crevices there, or maybe just a whitewash on it so that some of those designs come up through. But it's very, very pretty. This was 99 cents. A salt or pepper grinder. It must be salt because it doesn't have the grinder. It's just the shaker. 27 cents. I always pick these up. If you don't want the salt shaker, you can take that off and put a round on the top and make a candle holder out of it. So you have a really good spindle and you can make the candle holder on the top of it. Otherwise, I do have a set of these wood ones that are painted, and they're just for decoration in my kitchen. They sit on my stove. So having one, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Another kitchen item. This is a flower canister. This is West Bend. And I do have I just washed it. I do have the coffee also, but I do not have the sugar. There is a sugar one, but I have the coffee and the flour. Yes, this is the flour one. And you could, if you didn't want this design on here, you could make them look like these. Just paint them up and put a transfer on them. They'd be sweet. But just in case somebody wants them as is, because they're very vintage, people are still collecting them, and they would look really cool sitting on your counter, and put your grandkids' cookies in there, or hide cookies in there so nobody finds them. A recipe box. It does have a few cards in it. It needs a makeover. It does have some good solid spaces on it for lots of different things. It doesn't have a price on it. I would imagine like $1.98 or something. And one last item, this tote. I was actually at the thrift store when my girlfriend seen this the first time. She picked it up. She could see putting a transfer on there, putting it outside in the flowers, with some flowers in it. And so she picked it up, and then after she got home, she thought about it and thought, I don't need it. So I picked it up. We're gonna make this over in this video as well. Follow along, and I will see you at the end.
You said let's jump on the bus and take a ride downtown. Well, I don't know about that, but Can you help me first to get these boxes down? Well, I don't know about that. We have the whole...
For the first and second project, we're going to make over this box and these 3 little clear glass bottles. And we're going to give them a nice spring look. I took the labels off these bottles, but there's still sticky residue. So what I do is I take Goo Gone, and then I take my razor blade, and I scrape off the goo. Make sure you get all of the goo off of your bottles before you actually paint them. And then when you're using Goo Gone, you're gonna wanna put these in soap and water to make sure that you have all that Goo Gone off of the bottles as well, because otherwise your paint won't stick to the bottle.
Not just to ourselves, so we can clean the house or clear out some shelves. Just say whichever you...
Here's my jars. They're all painted in the tarnished pearl, except for the top. And I painted them 3 times. I wanted to make sure I had a nice solid coverage. Now I'm going to take layered chocolate, and it is almost gone. I've been working out of this almost gone bottle for a long time. I just keep adding more water. And we're gonna paint this top lip in the chocolate, layered chocolate. So I just go around the top. And it's okay that I'm not being careful, because you're gonna see something in a minute. I've done this before on one of my YouTube videos, but maybe you haven't seen that one. So I'm showing you again, because they are absolutely my favorite. And then I'm gonna take a little bit on the bottom and just do that edge down there. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, because you're gonna see something in a minute. So I have paper towel in here because this is gonna get messy. So I'm gonna set this down, and I'm gonna change the camera angle. All right, I'm gonna spray this. Let me move these other ones so they don't get wet. I'm gonna spray this so it gets all nice and wet. Some of that brown is already gonna start to run. And then I'm gonna take the paint that I have and put some more on. And let that run down. Because I wet the jar, it's running nice and free. And then I just kind of force it. I don't want it too dirty, but I want it to have a little bit of an age look to it.
Feel like doing first, I said, well, I don't know about that. 'Cause it's my lazy day, just wanna lazy away. Ain't gonna do a thing for the rest of the day. You can try to seduce me, make me wanna play. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Let's call some friends over for a game of poker.
I just painted these jars, and I want to put a transfer on it. And so I'm going to do the guaranteed method that the transfers are going to stick. Most of the time I don't put any clear coat on, and I put my transfers onto just the dry paint. And it works very well, but that's after it had sat for a while. And these I just painted. I'm trying to get this video finished so I can get it edited and uploaded in time for Monday. So I just went ahead and I sealed the jar with Big Top. And then we're gonna let that completely dry. You wanna make sure that the Big Top is very, very dry as well. So these will get transfers probably within I'll probably wait till this afternoon. So like 4 hours. I wanna just make sure that the Big Top is completely dry. Don't try and put it on wet Big Top. You'll have a problem. I've done this technique before using a transfer, and I really like them, and so do a lot of other people. It makes it look like homemade pottery. with the dark paint on the top and the bottom of the jars. So I went ahead and I cut out some of the elements from this Lost Garden transfer. This is a new spring release transfer, and you can cut them apart or you can use them as is, and I usually prefer to cut them apart. This one had some nice elements, and I wanted it to look real springy, but not quite have too much color, because what we're putting them in has a lot of color on it already. So I cut this transfer apart and just kept putting the pieces into place.
Soul searching, fall apart, tunnel vision, hiding in the dark. Well, I ain't gonna holler before I really bleed. Salvation, a quick fix remedy. You said I never could change. I thought I never could change. They said I never could change. Damn right, never would. Leave the light on. Leave the light on. Just leave the light on. Yeah, leave the light on. If I'll ever change, dreaming of Nashville, Tennessee, while the cold here in Sweden got the...
For this little box that holds the jars, we're going to use a transfer from this IOD Lost Garden. So this has got some really, really pretty images in it, but you have to make sure that, like, this is long. So you have to make sure that your flowers are going the long way. And so this spread of flowers right here, there's a number of them. I have been chopping them apart. But you have to make sure it's going the long way. And then I'm going to put it on there like that. So what color I decided to use was Queen Bee. We're going to paint this box in Queen Bee. To make your paint flow a little easier, you can always mist your project with water, and then your paint will go on a lot smoother, a lot easier, won't be very much effort at all.
Best of me. Well, haven't I got...
We're gonna take this transfer and we're gonna use one of these right here. This is a long transfer, and we're going to put it on the side of the box. I like my edges to be sharp. This one, it can wrap around. The sides, it can wrap around, but I like the bottom to be nice and sharp. So we're going to trim just a bit of that off using the grid lines on the transfer. Now it's going to be nice and sharp down there on the bottom. This paint has been drying for an entire day. I did not seal it. So I'm just going to lay that transfer down using the transfer stick. Then you're going to rub. And there are ridges in here. We're going to fix those in a little bit. So don't worry if you're doing transfer on something with ridges. Just go ahead and put it down and I'll show you how we can fix that. Isn't that going to be pretty on that yellow? I'm loving it.
Better shit to think about than that shit. Like deadlines, rents due, bills pile up, family day.
Okay, now that the transfer is removed, now I'm going to take this razor blade and slit down these grooves right here. And then take my fingernail and push them down. Doesn't matter which side you push it on because it's got the crack in it anyway. So it's just going to be pushed down in there. Yes, it's going to break. There's going to be a break in your flowers, but that's okay. Right like that. And do the second one.
Day out, the clock's mocking me, getting old. Oh, got the kids deserve so much more than this. Gotta get rich. You said I never could.
After that, I sanded the entire thing, giving it a little bit of age. You know, I like things to be a little bit worn looking instead of quite so crisp and clean. So I went with the sandpaper and just sanded all the edges of the box, and then I also sanded in the grooves to make those stand out just a little bit more. And next, I'm putting a layer of Big Top on to seal everything in and make that transfer adhere a little bit better. So I just seal everything with a coat of Big Top and let that dry. After it's dry, I'm going to put the inside of the box in this layered chocolate. It's going to act like a stain or a dark wax. So I put some watered down layered chocolate and then I really watered it down to make it more of a stain versus a paint. And so you can still see the wood grain through the dark brown colors. So I went and did the entire inside of the box using just that watered down paint that was on the bottom of the box and made it look like a stain. If you get any on it, it does have Big Top on the sealed in, so you can wipe it right off. Now, I wanted to try this, and I didn't try it on the front first, so I tried it on the back. I wanted that dark color to go into those grooves. DIY is out of dark wax right now, so I'm trying to live without it. Even though I have some that you can order, I just didn't want to use it for myself. So it did work, so now we're going to go and put it on the front of the box. I just watered down that layered chocolate paint, and then I wiped it with a baby wipe. Well, in my opinion, it wiped off too much. It just left it in the grooves. I like a little bit on the face of the box, so my fingers worked better. And it actually gave it more of an age and left some of it onto the front of the box. Now, since that was DIY paint, we have to seal everything in with another coat of Big Top.
Ever could change. I thought I never could change. They said I never ever could change. Damn right, I never would. Leave the light on. Oh. Leave the light on. Oh. Leave the light on. Oh. Just leave the light on. Oh. If I never change, if I never change.
For the next project, we're taking this bin. It is really, really rough. It's some rough wood, let me tell you. And I sanded off that homespun, and we're going to give this one a good makeover. For this bucket, and I sanded off this homespun to make sure that there wasn't any raised edge of that lettering. If you have any sort of raised edge of lettering, and sometimes it's really hard to feel, You want to make sure you feel it. And then even I just run a sandpaper over it just in case that there's any raised edges. Because as soon as you add a layer of paint, those edges will stick out. So I really was happy with the Queen Bee. So we're going to cover this box with Queen Bee also. It is just a fun, fresh color for spring. And my Queen Bee is getting a little thick in that jar, so it's a good time to use it. I decided to use this cottage word, and using my JRV stencil brush, I offloaded my stencil brush and using the DIY's black velvet paint, I stenciled in that circular pattern, making sure that I held the stencil in place. I think I might have moved it there a little bit. If you look by the G, it does look like it's shadowed, but it all worked out in the end. I can always fix a stencil because I like them to look a little grungy anyway. So yep, see, I did move it, but it also does have a texture, so your paint is going to follow that texture. Now I'm going to fill in all of the gaps so it doesn't have a stencil look to it, and fill everything in. So it was really tough to do this because of the rough surface on this box. So I went as well as I could around this lettering to fill it all in and give it that not stencil look. After it was dry, I went in with a piece of sandpaper and sanded everything off. That's what gives your stencil more of a aged look, is to just go right over the top of it with a piece of sandpaper. And now I'm taking that layered chocolate again, and using a palette knife, I'm just scraping some brown paint around the edges of this tote. Next, I use the crackle stamp in this gray ink, and that's it gives it more of a subtlety than the black, and I wanted it just to be there. You didn't have to really see it. I just needed it to have this another layer on it. I'm all about the layers. And so I went and put that crackle stamp, and you can find this on my website, and it's now the vintage texture stamps, which gives you 4 textures in one stamp, which is a really good deal. I just have these full-size sheets, so I don't open one of those. Next, we're going to use some clear wax going over this entire box with the clear wax. And again, DIY is out of the dark wax, so we're going to use dark dust, and I'm going to show you how to use this for an alternative to dark wax. And again, I do have dark wax on my website if you want to get yourself one before you run out. And I just went and added that dark wax into the clear wax. It just kind of melts it in there, and then you just rub it off. Now look at the age on that box compared to the full clear side.
Love like wildfire, I was your entire world until I stood alone in a storm. You took the sunshine, the flames are gone now, and I watched you walk straight out of that door. Promises got lost in the dust, your boots by the door, you're not coming home. Love like wildfire, I was your entire world until I wasn't anymore. Oh, heartache, you left me behind. That's not a man, only a coward gone. Now you're chasing the wind, no longer my man. You're just a coward.
For this next project, this is just that white tote. I was really confused with what to do with it, but I do like how it turned out in the end. For this basket, it stumped me. I like it, but when I look at this slatted front here, it's hard to figure out what to do with it. So I don't mind it in this whitish color. So we're just gonna get an upgrade. We're going to go in with the tarnished pearl, and we're just gonna give it a bit of a facelift. So adding the white tarnished pearl to this already white crate, see, it's already going to look so much cleaner, and it's going to like really give this a nice upgrade. We'll do this side as well so you can see the difference, because some people would say, well, you're just keeping it the same color. Why did you waste paint? But it really totally is giving it a new, fresh look versus the thrift store look. It needed help, and that's what I'm here for. It also, like, you don't have to get into those crevices if you keep with the same color paint. Those crevices are going to be just fine. They're going to blend right in after you're all done.
This place is a ghost town, dressed in moonlight. I whisper your name, can't get any sleep. Smoking cigarette after cigarette, I watch them burn until I forget we're through. Baby, tell me what to do. Promises got lost in the dust. Your boots by the door, you're not coming home. No, stuck in a ghost town, dressed in moonlight.
I decided to give you another project. This one, I decided to make over the recipe box. It was just calling my name, and I knew I had to do something with it. So I hope you like this one. I think it is my favorite. It's also listed on my website for sale at thepaintedphotographer.com. For this next project, this was the recipe box, and this was the cover that's on here. I took it off because it's easier to paint. There's two little nails that go in each side that hold this on, and that so it can hinge up and down. So I took those off. I also sanded on the front of this. I took that all off, and then I sanded that recipe off as well. I am going to use tarnished pearl paint. This is a DIY product, and it has become a favorite for me. I love the not white look to it. And it does go on, like you have to use 2 coats, but I don't mind that at all. So you're gonna just put this on in a single layer, not like if it doesn't cover that well, it's okay. You can do a second layer. We're gonna paint the entire thing in this tarnished pearl.
Where I still keep the porch light on. Oh, heartache, you left me behind. That's not a man, only a coward gone now.
All right, first coat is dry. Looks like we got a little bit of staining on here and on here because of where the words were. But I'm gonna try and cover it up one more time and see what happens. I don't know that this is gonna be the fix, but you guys will be the first to know. When you put this second coat on, it looks like it's not covering very well, but when it dries, it will have a good coverage. So let's go ahead and put that second coat on the entire thing. After this was completely dry, I sanded just the edges. I wanted just the corners to have some distress to them. So that's why I didn't use the baby wipe method. I used the sandpaper method. Is I just wanted the corners, and I wanted it to be a little bit more controlled sanding than when I use a baby wipe.
You're chasing the wind, no longer my man. You're just a You're just a cowboy.
I sealed everything in with a layer of Big Top and let that dry for about 4 hours. I had those words floating around in my transfer stash. They didn't have the back on them, so I finally decided I better use it. And you can tell that it didn't transfer very well because it was sitting there collecting dust, which isn't good. But it's going to be in the background. I put these are from the Katharina transfer that just came out. It is listed on my website at thepaintedphotographer.com, and there were 2 of these little yellow daisy-like flowers, and so I decided to use them on here and stick with our queen bee yellow themes. So on this top, you're not going to see that bottom edge, so I cut those flowers off so that I'm only doing the top, and I wanted to get close enough to that right edge, so I trimmed some of that transfer off so I could get a little bit closer to that edge and not have the flower go over the hole in the back. And after I got these on there, then I went over and I sanded where the transfer went over top of the sanding marks. This project is my favorite, so let me know in the comments which one of these projects was your favorite. I really did like this recipe box. I think it turned out really sweet. It is available on my website at thepaintedphotographer.com.
I was the girl all alone in the corner, drinking by yourself on a Saturday night. You were the guy with your friends at the doorway, pretending that you had the time of your life. Had we met before and seen chemistry?
Hey guys, how was that? Did you like that video? I really liked some of those projects that I did. My favorite was a recipe box. I hope that you try any of these products and you find that they're so easy to use. And if you struggle with them, just drop me a comment. I'm always glad to help. If you would like any of the products, you can visit my website at thepaintedphotographer.com and I'll ship them right to your front door. If you're local, I do sell my DIY and IOD products at the Foreman's Farm Home in Medford, Wisconsin. Thank you for watching. I will see you on Friday of this week because Sonnet has her Maker's Box out and I do have a video going up for that. So until next time, happy painting.